Hi everybody, welcome back on my YouTube channel and welcome back in our musings about Bach's Art of Fugue. Last video we finished the discussion about the overall form of the entire Art of Fugue. As far as I understand the sources, I suggested there a place for the fragment inside the whole design. I gave you my reasons for the trustworthiness of the necrologue message concerning the 1.5 missing fugues, from which one is unfinished and the other one not written at all. And I needed about 40 minutes to do this understandable. Sorry for that. This episode will be much shorter. You must not agree with the results I found in the last episodes. But if you reenact the road I went, you might agree that at our state now we have only two possibilities left. The first one, we may stop here and let my suggestions as a theoretical approach for further discussion only. Or the second, we go for the missing fugue in a very practical sense. However, I'm not a theorist nor a musical researcher, although I sometimes use the results, of course. But as a practical musician, I carry since ever my feelings of frustration with me that just this work, this Art of Fugue, has been unfinished. It's an individual frustration, but that's all I have it. As I do not remain in this emotion of frustration, I already started in school time searching an appropriate clothing for this work. And I failed, of course. Not once or twice. No, I failed constantly until now. And now I'm on a failing status, which I may share with you. No, just a couple of more weeks in Bach's lifetime would have been sufficient, and probably Bach would have had at least the key, perhaps even a further partial manuscript from which we then could derive his intentions. A couple of weeks. But the fate is as it is, and Bach passed in 1750 on July the 28th, leaving us the scores we have. My overall picture I read from the scores, you know from last videos, and referring to the last fugue, my persuasion is that it is impossible to reconstruct anything. And I'm honest here, we will not finally get rid of our elephant in the room from last episodes, and let us clear that first before thinking about the missing score. Welcome back again, have a coffee and make comfortable yourself. This episode, must take care here. This episode will be a short one and open-ended. First, let's talk about the vocabulary detail, completion versus reconstruction. And afterwards, you will get a score with some felicities of my own, something for playing around with them. Okay, what we are about to do. making a completion or a reconstruction, making something else. I know 3 scores referring to Bach's fragment. They are from David Mooney in Henle edition, from Thomas Daniel and from Zoltan Gönc. And only Gönc names his work a reconstruction. Nevertheless, all 3 approaches are completions. All 3 authors see the fragment as quadruple fugue and all completed in exactly this way. In episode 2 of this series, we made a triple fugue only from the fragment. But in all cases, notes has been added to a given score in order to finish it. That's per definition a completion. Gönc fundamentally fails with his formulation of a reconstruction in my mind. In our context here, in our context of musicological research, nobody ever had the idea of deconstructing Bach's scores and reconstruct them newly. That could be the case if Bach, similar at Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, would have took a scissor and would have cut out here the scores into pieces, moving them around in his creative process. Leibniz indeed did so, and researchers there absolutely have to reconstruct Leibniz sources. A painstaking work at all today. Bach instead had written clean and coherent scores. Gönc didn't need to reconstruct anything, nothing at all. He just completed the fragment as all of us did. And now, what are we here on this channel in this video series building from now? Should you agree the road I came to my results? No, that's the stuff from last episodes. You also should agree that the completion in its literally sense from our state now is simply impossible. There is nothing there to complete. Yeah, we have no manuscript. If we do not want letting our result on the theoretical stage, the only way of getting our missing fugue is writing it. We must make a new score. As long as there is no spectacular new discovery somewhere in the world of a vanishing Bach manuscript. At least there are countless possibilities for making such a fugue. Impossible of being sure for certainty about Bach's own solution. Here, our elephant from last episode will live forever. It's like a cathedral with a missing tower where the layout plan went lost. From available parts, you may deviate size or form or style, and maybe you're close to a vanished original, but you never will know with certainty about colors, materials, ornaments, and countless other details. To stick with our image, we can wall up our elephant, but he will never disappear. At least we'll have one complete Art of Fugue, one of so many possible solutions. Without a time machine, we will never know which one Bach would have chosen at least. But writing this new score Also no completion, no reconstruction, no, a complete new score. Writing this is for me the closest approach to Bach I'm capable of. I do absolutely not see myself in any sort of competition with Bach. I'm very sure of being free from any hubris of those ideas. No, but as practical musician, just the theory is kind of dead. I cannot come nearer to Bach's mind and intentions than writing in his footsteps. And the completed Art of Fugue eases my emotions of frustrating as far as it is possible in this life about this broken end of Art of Fugue. Just this work. And maybe somewhere between some lives I meet Bach and may ask if he then is not too busy with writing polyphonics for angel choirs in 11-dimensional space-times. Okay, but back to our very earthly learning process. What do you think about this exposition here? It's one of my earlier and failed attempts. I have replaced it as there are a couple of things I'm unhappy with. Some aspects simply doesn't meet to what Bach had written. However, other aspects do. But what do you think? I leave you with this draft on your own for the next days. So this time we will have a wonderful short video and you have something to think about and to play around with, if you like, of course. And next video we may learn from my failures here about some conditions and requirements for the last fugue. And if you like, we'll see us then. Stay healthy, all the best. Bye bye, and here's my discarded draft that has passed in times and in working process. All the best.